When I was younger, I played basketball all the time and I was able to stay in shape because of that. But as I got older and I got done playing, I realized that I was getting out of shape and I did not know how to get back in. I did tons of push-ups, sit-ups, I would run for miles every single week, but I was still not seeing the results that I wanted. Maybe you can relate. Over the past 3 years, I've begun to really study and focus on what it was going to take to change my body, to decrease my body fat, but also increase my overall muscle and strength at the same time. We're going over 10 habits to help you to drop below 10% body fat and even lower if you wanted to. And the last one might be the best, so make sure you stick for the entire video. We all know that you must be in a caloric deficit. You need to be expending more calories than you consume every single day. If you don't know what your daily caloric expenditure is, then simply Google TDEE calculator. So this is of course the biggest factor if you want to lose fat and lose weight. But I'm going to give you a bunch of tips and tricks to help you do that as well. But let's go on to number 2. Stop focusing on cardio. Cardio should be used for endurance and heart health. When you do intense cardio, what happens is it triggers your hunger. You will want to eat after doing intense cardio. Instead, I want you to focus on strength training. Double down on your strength training. I want you to put together some sort of workout where you're doing resistance training. This will be a lot better than doing intense cardio all the time. And that is because your daily caloric makeup is only about 10% of what you allocate towards exercise. The other 80 to 90% of calories that you burn throughout the day is done simply through your basal metabolic rate and what's considered your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, you burn the majority of your calories just throughout the day doing your normal activities. Eating food actually burns calories. Fidgeting, typing, walking, all of those things throughout the day is going to burn 80 to 90% of your calories. Strength training is going to help you to build muscle, and that's going to make it pop out of your skin more. And as you decrease your body fat, increase your muscle, you're going to become a more aesthetic looking person, which is usually the goal for most of us. I want you to highly prioritize protein. Protein not only helps you to build muscle, but it's also the most satiating of all the macros, meaning it satisfies you the most. It makes you feel full. So how much protein should you consume every single day? A good general rule is to consume about as many grams as you weigh. This is one of the easiest habits that you can start to do. Having things like sodas, juices, these are high calorie drinks that really give you little to no benefits at all. Instead, I want you to substitute them with things like flavored carbonated water, zero Gatorade, and even diet sodas. All of these are way better alternatives than juices and drinks that have calories in them. It's recommended that you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single day. This is so important. First of all, sleep is going to help your body to recover. If you're lifting 3 to 5 times a week like I recommended, your body is going to break down its muscles and then it uses its sleep time to repair it. If you're not getting adequate sleep, you're not going to be able to repair your muscles at an effective and efficient rate. But there's 2 other important aspects that sleep is involved in that affects your ability to drop your body fat percentage. Sleep helps regulate the hormones that control your hunger and your appetite. Sleep deprivation increases the hormone ghrelin, which signals hunger. And when you're sleep deprived, the hormone leptin gets decreased, and that hormone is responsible for you feeling full. So those 2 signals to your brain are going in the wrong directions when you don't have enough sleep every single night. Make sure you're either getting to bed early or waking up a little bit later, but make sure you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. You only need to track a few things and only for a certain period of time. Let's start off with your diet and figuring out which foods you're going to eat on a consistent basis to stay in that caloric deficit. Then Track those for an entire week and check yourself on the scale every single day to see yourself losing weight. Once you have successfully done that for a week, then you can become what I call an intuitive eater, where you know which foods are going to get you to your goals, and then focus on eating the same type of meals every single day, and you'll continue to see the same results. Now, when it comes to your workouts, I want you to focus on one exercise for each specific muscle group that you're really trying to target and increase. Focus on one thing in that push day, zone in on those, and make sure that you are progressively overloading so that you don't get frustrated and overwhelmed with the tracking. This is the best form of cardio that you can and should be doing. 10,000 steps is equivalent to about 5 miles. Let me help you out with some tips and tricks to get to 10,000 steps every single day. First of all, if you have any pets, take your dog out for a 10-15 minute walk 2 or 3 times a day instead of just letting him outside. Whenever you go run errands, stop parking right next to the entrance. Instead, park further away so that you have to walk. It's going to take you a few more minutes, but all those steps are going to add up over time. When you're working out, stop sitting down in between sets. Get up and walk around for 1 or 2 minutes. Walking is the best form of cardio for a few different reasons. Number one, you can multitask. You can be on the phone, you can get work done, you can make calls, you can text people. It's something that you're not going to dread having to do every single day. It's something easy, but also walking is great on your joints compared to intense cardio. Take a look at your fridge, take a look at your pantry. Stop buying foods that are not beneficial for you. When you're trying to figure out what foods to get and you're not sure, here's what you can do to make sure that you're getting enough protein while staying in a caloric deficit. Losing fat, but getting stronger at the same time. Look at the protein number on a food label. Add a 0 to the end of it. And if that number is not greater than or equal to the calorie serving, then it's not a great food. If you just stick to this method and 80 to 90% of the foods you eat are under this criteria, you will inherently start eating a lot healthier. The only exceptions would be things like fruits and vegetables. But everything else, use that tip and you will start eating healthier. Now, I'll say this, if you're not eating healthy, it's a lot harder to go on a fast because your body has those sugar cravings. Maybe the most effective form of fasting is going to be the time period from when you go to bed all the way to when you wake up and have your first meal. Think about not eating again after dinner and then not eating again the next day until noon. And the majority of those hours are spent sleeping. You don't even think about the hunger, obviously, when you're sleeping. But fasting also has scientific benefits. When you are fasting, it allows your body to start using a different fuel source. The longer your body goes without eating, the more it will dive into your fat storages for fuel instead of using carbs and glucose, which is exactly what we want. I've got a great quote for you guys that I've been living by for the last 3 or 4 years. An idle mind is the devil's playground. When you are not able to stay active, your mind starts wandering into things it shouldn't be doing, whether that's alcohol, drugs, or eating food that you shouldn't be eating. When we are bored, we look for a quick dopamine hit to start feeling alive again, and that often results in doing negative things. So I want you to try to stay active throughout the day. And by doing that, you're not going to overthink about eating all the time. Work out, meditate, try to have something that you're always doing so that you're not going to think about when you're hungry if you are hungry. If you follow these steps, you can get below 10% body fat. At one point, I was under 8%. I'm currently consistently at 10% right now for the last 1.5 years. And using these 10 habits, you can do the same thing.